Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For the past 2 days, the nation has been reveling as a result of the tremendous performance of the hockey teams, both men and women, at the Tokyo Olympics. 135 crore Indians, including the Prime Minister, lauding the achievements of the 32 players who represented India at the Olympic stage and brought back laurels. On this momentous occasion, the Modi Sarkar, finding it befitting to honor the icon who started it all for Indian hockey, Major Dhyan Chand, the iconic hockey legend, India's first sporting superstar, who dazzled on the field, taking the game across the globe, mesmerizing everyone with his wizardry and skills, will now be the anchor of sporting excellence in India. For a long time, the award for highest sporting excellence was in the name of former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. But the Modi government today has decided to rename the award and befittingly associate the honor in the name of the first sporting superstar of India, Major Dhyan Chand. The entire country welcomed the initiative except a disgruntled Congress party that was trying to find political reasons to contest the move. Before I move on to what the Congress party said, I would like to put some facts and numbers on the table. This illustration, ladies and gentlemen, demonstrates how India is probably stuck in a cycle of sycophancy that it needs to get out of, especially if it has to celebrate merit and success of individuals from different walks of life. Dhyan Chand epitomized the spirit of sporting excellence and took a game that represented India to the international stage. Like him, there are many individuals today who are waiting to be honored and remembered. But till date, you have government schemes, sporting events, stadia, excellence awards, and educational institutions named after one family. This has to change, and a step has been made in that direction by honoring Dhyan Chand. But as predicted, the Congress tonight is nitpicking and politicizing this move. Listen in to all that they had to say about the controversy of renaming the Khel Ratna Awards.
It should have happened years back. In fact, all the sports awards should have happened by the name of sportsman. What bigger sportsman do we have in our country? What Major Dhyan Chand has achieved for this country. In fact, I would want to go one step ahead. We should have been given Bharat Ratna Major Dhyan Chand. And I hope it happens very soon. But really historic. I'm sure the entire country will definitely support this and will be happy about this.
One important announcement has come by from Narendra Modi that Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award will now be called Major Dhyan Chand Award.
I also hope that the Narendra Modi Stadium in Gujarat will also be renamed after a sports person.
I think there should not be opposition when you give a sports person an award in a name of such a big legend. I think people will feel honored, people will feel happy. I think this is a very, very good decision. And there are so many institutions already in the name of late Rajiv Gandhi.
Well, it's nothing. We are not surprised. He changed the Sardar Patel Stadium's name and named it Narendra Modi Stadium. So now, if he has changed the name of Rajiv Gandhi Khel Award for Dhyan Chand ji, he should have done it for himself. Why is he named again Dhyan Chand ji?
So the legitimate question on the Newshour tonight: what's so petty about naming an award after a sports icon, and a sporting award at that? That's the question and the debate. Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna. That's the hashtag and the debate. Coming up on the other side.
You're watching the Newshour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining Joining me tonight, Krishna Punya, MLA of the Congress Party and former Olympian, joining me live from Jaipur. Sabha Naqvi, senior journalist. Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst. Shiva Keswan, president of the Olympians Association of India. Kalikesh Singhdeo, former member of parliament of the BJD and ex-shooter. Also joining me tonight is Shehzad Poonawala, lawyer. But my first question goes to Dr. Sambit Patra, national spokesperson of the BJP. And Dr. Sambit Patra, the charge against you is that it is you who has politicized the Dhyan Chand Khel Ratnas by removing the name of Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, former Prime Minister, and substituting it with Dhyan Chand with an eye on politics. Respond to that criticism.
Navika, good evening. And before I come to the answer of the question that you have asked, let me in fact enlighten the nation through your channel as to what are already in the name of the Gandhi family. We have 450 schemes, projects and institutions in the name of the Gandhi family, 12 central and 52 state yojanaएं, 28 sports tournament and trophies, 19 stadium across the country in the name of the Gandhi family, 5 airports and ports in the name of Gandhi family, 98 educational institutions in the name of Gandhi family, 51 awards in the name of Gandhi family, 15 fellowship in the name of Gandhi family, 15 national sanctuaries and parks in the name of Gandhi family, 39 hospitals and medical institutions in the name of Gandhi family, 37 institutions, chairs and festivals in the name of Gandhi family, 74 roads, buildings and places in the name of Gandhi family. And here are the 28 sports events and tournaments named after the Gandhi family: Jawaharlal Nehru Gold Cup football tournament, Jawaharlal Nehru hockey tournament, Jawaharlal Nehru Cup tournament, Indira Gandhi Gold Cup tournament, Indira Gandhi International Hockey Tournament, Indira Gandhi boat race, Rajiv Gandhi Gold Cup kabaddi tournament, Rajiv Gandhi Sadbhavna Run, Rajiv Gandhi Federation Cup boxing championship, Rajiv Gandhi International football, Rajiv Gandhi road races, Rajiv Gandhi
शो खत्म हो जाएगा मेरा.
Rajiv Gandhi
Stop.
let me नहीं, शो नहीं खत्म होगा, शो खत्म नहीं होगा, शो खत्म नहीं होगा. Rajiv Gandhi road races, Rajiv Gandhi boat races, Rajiv Gandhi International Artistic Gymnastic Tournament, Rajiv Gandhi Kabaddi Meet, Rajiv Gandhi Memorial Roller Skating Championship, Rajiv Gandhi Memorial Marathon Race, Rajiv Gandhi International Judo Championship, Rajiv Gandhi Memorial Trophy, Rajiv Gandhi Rural Cricket Tournament, Rajiv Gandhi Gold Cup U21 Football, Rajiv Gandhi Trophy Football, Rajiv Gandhi Award for Outstanding Sportsperson, Rajiv Gandhi Basketball Girls Tournament, Rajiv Gandhi Wrestling Gold Cup, Rajiv Gandhi Memorial Jhopadapatti Football Tournament, Rajiv Gandhi International Invitation Gold Cup Football Tournament, Rajiv Gandhi Mini Olympics,
I'll have to send an oxygen cylinder.
Kabaddi Federation, Rajiv Gandhi Memorial Tournament, sports stadium named after Rajiv Gandhi and the family, sports stadium, Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium, New Delhi, Indira Gandhi Sports Complex, New Delhi, Indira Gandhi Indoor Stadium, New Delhi, Indira Gandhi Stadium, Vijayawada,
Dr. Patra, you're taking up all the panelists' time.
Indira Gandhi Stadium, Deoghar, Rajasthan, Rajiv Gandhi Sports Stadium, Bhavana. Just 5 more seconds. 5 more seconds. Rajiv Gandhi Sports Stadium, Bhavana, Rajiv Gandhi National Football Academy, Haryana, Rajiv Gandhi AC Stadium, Visakhapatnam, Rajiv Gandhi Indoor Stadium, Pondicherry, Rajiv Gandhi Stadium, Itanagar, Rajiv Gandhi Badminton Indoor Stadium, Cochin, Rajiv Gandhi Indoor Stadium, Ernakulam, Rajiv Gandhi Sports Complex, Singhu, Rajiv Gandhi Memorial Sports Complex, Guwahati, Rajiv Gandhi International Stadium, Hyderabad, Rajiv Gandhi Indoor Stadium, Kochi.
Are you going to read the universities also? Are you going to read the ports and the airports also? You know, because I don't have that much time.
No, just the sports. No, just sports. Because we're discussing on sports.
Thank you.
And Navika,
I need to thank you.
sense of entitlement. After all this, they're still complaining.
मेरे पास बहुत अच्छा जवाब है इस चीज का.
जवाब दीजिए.
Please do it.
जवाब दीजिए. मैडम पूनिया जी, जवाब
दीजिएगा.
मैं ये कहना चाहूंगी नाविका जी, मैं पिछले दिनों से काफी लंबे समय से बहस सुनती आ रही हूँ कि 70 वर्षों में कांग्रेस ने क्या किया, और मेरे संबित पात्रा जी से मैं कहना चाहूँगी कि इंस्टीट्यूट के भी नाम गिना देते, सारी योजनाओं के नाम गिना देते, और मैं आज खुश हूँ कि संबित पात्रा के मुख से मैं ये बात सुन रही हूँ कि कांग्रेस ने इतने काम किए और जिनका नामकरण इन्होंने किया. तो मैं आपको धन्यवाद देती हूँ कि एटलीस्ट आप मान गए हो कि कांग्रेस ने क्या किया. कांग्रेस की ही देन थी, और यही स्वर्गीय राजीव गांधी जी की देन थी जब 1982 के अंदर एशियन गेम हुए थे, और उसके बाद जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बना था उसी में राजीव गांधी जी ने सोचा था कि इस इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का क्या किया जाए ताकि देश के मेडल जीतने को हमें मिले, और खेल प्राधिकरण का इन्होंने नामकरण किया, एक हमारा नींव का पत्थर रखा, और उसी खेल प्राधिकरण इंस्टीट्यूट की मैं खुद खिलाड़ी हूं, जिसमें 20 साल तक रहकर मैंने ट्रेनिंग की और मेडल प्राप्त किए, और लगभग 95% एथलीट हमारे उसी खेल प्राधिकरण से आते हैं। ये नाम आपने नहीं बताया, और उसी खेल प्राधिकरण के सबसे पहले चेयरमैन थे तो स्वर्गीय राजीव गांधी जी थे। तब वो प्रधानमंत्री नहीं थे, और ये उन्हीं की सोच थी कि हमारे देश में मेडल कैसे बढ़े, और हमारे देश के अंदर जो सफल आयोजन हुआ था, और उसी के बाद एक नींव का पत्थर रखा गया कि मेरे देश के युवा हैं जो आगे बढ़ें। आज मैं नामकरण के ऊपर मैं कहना चाहती हूँ, संबित पात्रा जी, मुझे खुशी होती। सबसे पहले मैं आपको बताना चाहती हूँ कि नेशनल अवार्ड मेजर ध्यानचंद जी के नाम से दिया जाता है, 5 लाख की राशि जिसके अंतर्गत है, और वो उन खिलाड़ियों को दिया जाता है जो अर्जुन अवार्डी हैं, जो हमारे कॉमनवेल्थ गेम में मेडलिस्ट हैं और एशियन गेम में मेडलिस्ट हैं, ओलंपिक पार्टिसिपेट में हैं। हमारे उन खिलाड़ियों को ध्यानचंद अवार्ड दिया जाता है। साथ ही मैं बताना चाहूंगी, आप बहुत कुछ करना चाहते थे, आज हमारा बहस का विषय होना चाहिए था कि हमारे देश में और मेडल कैसे प्राप्त हों। अगर आप मेजर ध्यानचंद जी के नाम से अगर आप कोई बड़े अवार्ड देना चाहते थे, तो आज आपको 20 लाख रुपए उसी अवार्ड में कर देते तो ये बड़ा हो जाता और खिलाड़ियों की मदद हो जाती। मेजर ध्यानचंद
कृष्णा पूनिया जी, आप कहना क्या चाह रही हैं? आप कहना क्या चाह रही हैं कि मेजर ध्यानचंद के नाम पर खेल रत्न नहीं होने चाहिए?
कहना चाह रही हूँ जो लंबे वर्ष से
मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती हूँ कि 1928 के ओलंपिक्स में, 1932 के ओलंपिक्स में, 1936 के ओलंपिक्स में, ये हमारे पहले स्पोर्ट्स सुपरस्टार थे मेजर ध्यानचंद जी। 3 गोल्ड मेडल हॉकी के लेकर आए थे। हिटलर ने उन्हें बुलाया था कि आप जर्मनी से आकर खेलिए, उन्होंने मना कर दिया था। उन्होंने कहा था मैं बिकाऊ नहीं हूँ, और वियना में उनको नवाजा गया था और उनको जादूगर मैजिशियन का खिताब दिया गया था। आज अगर खेल रत्न को उनके नाम से जाना जाए तो आपको लगता है खेल रत्न की शान और शौकत कुछ कम हो जाएगी? क्या आप ये बताना चाह रही हैं?
नहीं।
तो क्या बता रही हैं?
नहीं, आप बात सुनिए, बिल्कुल भी आप सुनिए प्लीज। मैं यही बताना चाहती हूँ, मेजर ध्यानचंद जी का एक खिलाड़ी होने के नाते खिलाड़ी से ज्यादा रिस्पेक्ट और कोई नहीं कर सकता है। दूसरा, मैं कहना चाहती हूँ कि इसी खिलाड़ी के लिए, इस देश के जादूगर के लिए हम सब ने सबसे पहले यही मांग उठाई थी कि उन्हें भारत रत्न से नवाजा जाए।
मांग क्यों उठाई थी?
खिलाड़ियों में
कम से कम 50-60 साल तो कांग्रेस की सरकार थी, तो आप मांग क्यों उठाती हैं? आपको तो दे देना चाहिए था।
ठीक है,
आपको तो दे देना चाहिए था, आपकी पार्टी को दे देना चाहिए था भारत रत्न। उन्होंने राजीव गांधी जी को दिया, इंदिरा गांधी को जीते जी दिया। तो ध्यानचंद जी का भी स्मरण कर लेते थोड़ा सा, किसने रोका था?
बिल्कुल ठीक है नाविका जी। अब मैं वो बात ये बताना चाहती हूँ, अगर आप ये चीजें रोकना चाहते थे तो आपने गुजरात में क्या किया? आप खिलाड़ियों को सम्मान देना चाहते हैं और एक तरफ आप गुजरात में क्या कर रहे हैं उसके बारे में भी आप जरा
जवाब दीजिए।
अगर आप
डॉक्टर पात्रा
क्रिकेटर के पास नहीं होना चाहिए था?
Congress party says just like you have an allergy to the Gandhi Parivar names attached to so many schemes and stadiums and sporting events, they say then you should be absolutely different. Why name a stadium after the Prime Minister in Gujarat?
See, I just in fact listed out the names of the stadium across the length and breadth of the country which is named after different members of the Gandhi family. Did we change the names? Of course not. Did we even think of changing the name of Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in Delhi or the Indira Gandhi Stadium in Delhi? Of course not. This issue is a very emotional issue. Remember yesterday and day before yesterday when we really performed well in the hockey matches in the Tokyo Olympics, there was a public sentiment across the country. What did the people want? The people wanted that the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award should be in fact rechristened or renamed after Major Dhyan Chand. Two things. They wanted respect for Major Dhyan Chand, which was long lacking, and rightly so. He should be respected. And as far as Bharat Ratna is concerned, well, yes, he has not been given Bharat Ratna. Astonishingly, 3 members of the the Gandhi family have got Bharat Ratna. Two of them have self-conferred Bharat Ratna. Indira Gandhi ji and Jawaharlal Nehru self-conferred upon themselves Bharat Ratna. But they did not feel that Dhyan Chand ji was appropriate to be respected. Astonishingly, what the Prime Minister did was to respect the sentiments of crores of people who have been since a couple of days saying that the award should be renamed. मैं पुनिया जी का बहुत सम्मान करता हूं, वो एक डिस्कस थ्रोअर रही हैं, मेडलिस्ट भी हैं. मैं कभी भी आपके साथ एक तूतू मैमे की बहस में नहीं जाना चाहूंगा, मगर सम्मान के साथ कहना चाहूंगा पुनिया जी कि इस देश में जो एंटाइटलमेंट की राजनीति चल रही है ये उचित राजनीति नहीं है.
रिस्पेक्टफुली मैंने संबित जी आपसे पूछा है, आप अगर खिलाड़ियों का सम्मान करना चाहते हैं
दीदी मैं जवाब दे, बहन मैं आपका जवाब दे रहा हूँ. आप अपने समय पे बोले, एक दूसरे के ऊपर नहीं बोले तो अच्छा लगेगा.
नहीं
मैं तो
मेरे संस्कार ये नहीं कहते
मैं जवाब दे रहा हूँ
से कोई बात करूं, लेकिन मैंने
बिल्कुल मैं तो जवाब दे रहा हूं, तो आप सुन लीजिए.
आप क्या कर रहे हैं?
आपने पूछा, मैं जवाब दे रहा हूं. पहली बात तो मैं बताना चाहूंगा, इस देश में एंटाइटलमेंट के लिए अब कोई स्थान नहीं है. एक परिवार अगर सोचे कि सब कुछ उसी परिवार के ऊपर ही निर्धारित है, कि आपने अभी कहा एक प्राधिकरण बनाया राजीव गांधी जी ने, जिस प्राधिकरण के कारण हिंदुस्तान में खेल हो सका, जिस प्राधिकरण के कारण ही मेडल मिले, ऐसा नहीं है. ये जो गांधी परिवार के लोग दिखाते हैं ना कि ब्रह्मांड का निर्माण भी गांधी परिवार ने किया, ये पूरा धराधाम का निर्माण, ऐसा नहीं है. कब तक ये सब बेवकूफ देश को बनाया जाएगा? कि आप जानती हैं, आप खुद एक बार सोच के देखिए, आपके घर के बाहर जो पार्क होगा वो गांधी परिवार के एक सदस्य के नाम पे होगा. घर की खिड़की से जो बिल्डिंग दिखेगी वो गांधी परिवार के नाम पे होगा. आप मेट्रो स्टेशन में जाएगा, उसका नाम होगा राजीव गांधी मेट्रो स्टेशन. आप चौक पे उतरिएगा, उस चौक का नाम भी गांधी परिवार के नाम पे होगा. आप स्टेडियम में खेल देखने जाइएगा, उस स्टेडियम का नाम भी गांधी परिवार के नाम पे होगा. क्यों इस देश में पुनिया जी के नाम पे क्यों नहीं होगा? इस देश में पुनिया जी के नाम पे मेजर ध्यानचंद जी के,
तो गुजरात में क्यों नहीं किया? गुजरात में क्रिकेटर के नाम से क्यों नहीं किया?
समय पे डिस्कस थ्रो करती थी ना, जब आपका मौका आता था. बीच में तो डिस्कस थ्रो नहीं कर सकते ना हम लोग अपने अपने टर्न का इंतजार करेंगे ना.
जवाब दीजिए ना, आप जवाब नहीं दे रहे.
इस शो
आप बार-बार वही चीजें रिपीट कर रहे हैं, आप जवाब दीजिए.
जब मुझे बोलेंगे तो मैं बोलूंगा.
Let me get in Kalikesh. We will have to come back to this question, but let me get in Kalikesh Singhdeo. Kalikesh Singhdeo, I want to ask you one question. The Congress has charged the BJP government with the, charge that the timing is wrong and it reeks of petty politics. Do you think remembering Dhyan Chand ji right after we've got a medal after 41 years is petty politics?
In a short answer, Navika, no. And I completely support the decision of the government that to rename the awards or name any awards after sports people. I think by and large, this principle should be followed across the country, and all sports infrastructure, all sports awards, including major championships, which are normally named after local or national sports champions, should be carried on, even from the government's perspective. But, and especially in the backdrop of the performance of the teams, the hockey teams in Tokyo. But let me also explain. Let me put it this way: that personally, I would never want a stadium named after myself. I'm quite sure Naveen Patnaik doesn't want that too. And we all understand, we all recognize the contribution of Odisha's government for the sport of hockey. So I think it would be a really good, symbol by the government if they could actually get or rename all sports infrastructure and all sports recognition after sports people. I think it should go across the board. And even the Narendra Modi Stadium should be named after a sports person. Even the Rajiv Gandhi Stadium should be named after a sports person. I think these are going to be a very healthy sign and a healthy support to the sports people, but it shouldn't be limited to that. I agree with Ms. Punia when she was talking about the lack of necessary support to sports people. This is symbolism. Naming a sports stadium or award is symbolism. We really need to augment the quality of sport by supporting our sports people with a lot more resources, a lot more training, and a lot more infrastructure.
Well, very well said. And before I come to you, Shehzad, I want Dr. Sambit Patra to respond. Symbolism is not where you need to stop. After all, you've been in government for 7 years now. Dhyan Chand पहले भी great थे, आज भी great हैं. 7 साल में आप ही भारत रत्न दे देते. स्पोर्ट्स इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर स्पोर्टिंग आइकॉन्स के नाम पर होना चाहिए. तो फिर सवाल पूनिया जी ने उठाया है कि नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नाम पर क्यों, if you are so opposed to that entire culture. Respond to these very important questions, Dr. Patra.
See, Navika, two questions. In fact, the question number one, which was put up by Kalikesh, my good friend, was this is tokenism, this is symbolism. I don't believe this is mere symbolism. This is emotion. You know, emotions of thousands and crores of people are attached to this naming, you know. Major Dhyan Chand, we performed really great in hockey after 41, 49 long years in the men and the women hockey. Well, yes, I respect Naveen Patnaik for whatever he has done. As I respect 130 crore people and their sentiments. They firmly believe that, well, yes, Major Dhyan Chand really has to be kind of, his rebirth has to take place. We have to be reminded of him because it's not just a name, it's an inspiration. Thousands and thousands of people would be inspired by that, just as women across the country in small towns and villages, they have been inspired by the great feat that our ladies did on the an Olympic ground that they saw. So it is an inspiration, it's not just a mere name. I mean, today, in fact, if you would see Google, people have Googled to learn what Major Dhyan Chand's contribution was, because many of our youngsters, you know, probably they would like to know more about him, that he scored 570 goals for India, 3 gold medals for India.
You're still sidestepping the question. You're still sidestepping the question on Gujarat Stadium. You know, respond to that question. Kalikesh, your good friend has asked that question.
Let me come back to the second question on Gujarat. Let me come back to Gujarat now. Yeah, to Gujarat. The most important thing is disproportionate naming of public institution after a particular leader. As far as Gujarat is concerned, of the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Sports Complex, we have one stadium named after Narendra Modi, not the whole complex or the sports city. Remember, one stadium in the whole country, just one stadium. Over here, I just read out the names breathlessly of those stadiums in this country which have been named after the Gandhi family. The proportion is important. One stadium after Arun Jaitley, who in fact cared about cricket. He really cared about cricket. He contributed. Great part of his life has gone.
Kalikesh Singh, does that response satisfy you? Does that response satisfy you, Kalikesh?
Navika, you know, I'm completely against the fact that so many, championships and infrastructures are being named after one family. I'm completely against that. Let me be very clear and, be very clear with Sambit on that one. But I think, I think it's distasteful to have anything named after you while you're still living. I mean, I know we criticized Mayawati ji when she put up statues of herself in Lucknow all over the place. And I think if the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi ji, could actually come up and give a strong message by telling those people in Gujarat, I know he's not named it after himself, somebody else has named it after him. But if he comes up with a clear message saying, look, don't name it after me, name it after, a Gujarat cricketer or a Gujarat sports person, I think that will raise Narendra Modi's image much higher. I think that's the kind of symbolism and tokenism and the message that we need to see in the highest echelon. We need to value and honor our sports people, and not so much a politician. I've never said a word about Mr. Arun Jaitley. I completely recognize the fact that he has contributed to sport and the stadium was named after him. But let's be clear, it is a sense of, self-ego gratification if you start naming, if things are being named after you when you're still alive and you don't object to it.
Well, let me get in Shehzad Poonawala. Shehzad Poonawala, why would the Congress take it to these levels? Yes, one stadium in the name of the Prime Minister, and he hails from Gujarat. Even that is something people are questioning. But, Dr. Patra was very, very clear about the proportion. One stadium in an entire complex versus, you can go on counting the number of things that have been done for the Gandhi Parivar. And in fact, when my research team came and gave me a list of all that was in the name of the Gandhi Parivar, list of national parks, sanctuaries, museums, 15. List of awards in the name of Gandhi Parivar, well, there are, 1 minute, be patient, I'm just turning the pages. This is the whole list of about almost 20 pages and 98 universities and about buildings and museums, about 52 of them, universities, name it, and it's in the name of the Gandhi Parivar. It's the question of proportion, number one. And number two, 41 years after, a gap of 41 years, when a medal comes home, are we supposed to be now doing a tug of war on whether it should continue to be called a Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna, or is it right to remember Dhyan Chand and make it? I really want to get to the crux of that matter.
So, Navika, first of all, it would take public ka sawal and Newshour both hours combined to actually read out the names of the schemes named after the first family. पर सवाल आज देश यही पूछ रहा है कि जब ध्यानचंद जी का हो रहा है सम्मान तो गांधी मंडली क्यों है परेशान? और वो इसलिए परेशान है क्योंकि उनको लगता है कि शौचालय से लेकर एयरपोर्ट तक हर चीज पर केवल मेरा नाम होना चाहिए। अब शुरुआत में संबित पात्रा ने ब्रेथलेस की तरह उन्होंने नाम बताए, सारी स्कीम, सारे प्लेज, सारे स्पोर्टिंग अवार्ड्स के नाम राजीव गांधी। व्हाट वाज हिज कंट्रीब्यूशन टू स्पोर्ट्स? क्या वो इतने बड़े खिलाड़ी थे? क्या उनकी स्पोर्टिंग डायनेस्टी है? बट स्टिल वी हैव नेम्ड सो मेनी थिंग्स एंड नन ऑफ दोस हैव बीन चेंज्ड। नाउ सम पीपल आर कंपेयरिंग द स्टेडियम्स नेम टू द नेम ऑफ द हाईएस्ट स्पोर्टिंग ऑनर। Navika, this is not just any other honor. This is like the Bharat Ratna of sports, and obviously it should not be named after any person who has nothing to do with sports, because we have already named so many things. But I want to also remind you that, look, today the question is that why is it so problematic for them to have the name of Mr. Narendra Modi? This Narendra Modi's name has not been given by the government of Gujarat. It has been given by the Gujarat Cricket Association, which is also, by the way, a private entity. And I have to ask Mr. Kalikesh Deo, I have great respect for him, but his own party's name. Now, a party is also an institution of public. It is not a private institution. But what is the name of his party? Whom is it named after? Which family is it named after? So I hope he begins this tradition by starting the change of his name of his own party. But that is not the point. Tonight I just want to say that my dear friends should not behave so petulantly. They should accept it unless they hate Major Dhyan Chand for what he represents. And what does he represent? He represents the idea of padak over pad. He represents the idea of merit over parivar. And therefore you are seeing these people, when Sambit Patra ji के जैसे ब्रेथलेस तो नहीं हो सकता, पर उनके जो को सिंगर है कैलाश खेर, उन्होंने गाना गाया था, तेरे नाम से जी जाऊं, तेरे नाम पर मर जाऊं, तेरे नाम के बदले में मैं कुछ ऐसा कर जाऊं। आई फील तहसीन पूनावाला इस मंडली शुड स्टॉप रनिंग आफ्टर द नेम। दे शुड सी कि काम भी हुआ है, काम किसने किया है, ये सरकार ने किया। और मैं नहीं कह रहा, आज राज पिल्ले इज रिटन फॉर टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया, आज मीराबाई चानू उनकी बाइट टाइम्स नाउ पर चली थी। और अगर फिर भी दुख दर्द हो रहा है तो इस दर्द की दवा मेरे पास है। बर्नआउट तो मार्केट से खत्म हो चुकी है, पर ये अवेलेबल है, लगा लीजिए एंड एक्सेप्ट इट। न्यू इंडिया विल रिवॉर्ड पदक, नॉट पद।
तहसीन पूनावाला, यू आर स्माइलिंग, यू आर शिफ्टिंग इन योर सीट। मुझे एक चीज सिर्फ बता दीजिए, ऑपोजिशन हैज टू प्ले द रोल ऑफ ऑपोजिशन, बट फॉर स्पोर्ट्स एंड व्हेन अ मेडल कम्स होम आफ्टर 41 years, do you really have to be just so petty about this?
Thank you for having me on the show. I'm going to be very brief, and I hope Shehzad does not interrupt because he has a habit of interrupting. The proof of the pudding is in the eating, and the sports medals and the sports budget of India, I quote Economic Times, has been cut by 230.78 crores. Khelo India saw the biggest
What does that have to do with Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna? What does that have to do with Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna? Out of syllabus मत बात करिए, वापस आ जाइए पॉइंट पर, मुद्दे पर।
Is there anything else? Can I make my second point, or do you want to defend?
No, you make a point related to the debate.
I am, but you want to interrupt me. You don't have to be more loyal than the king. Let me answer my question. You
don't have to be a certification authority, Mr. Poonawala.
I am not, ma'am. I'm just making my point. I came on the debate, invited by you. Shehzad's making faces. You're interrupting me. Why have on the debate? Let me make my point.
Achha, I'm asking you a question. First, respond to the question I asked. Why are you being petty 24 hours after we won a bronze medal after 41 years?
Because a lot of lies were told on your show, and I would have utilized my time to clarify those lies. But instead, you are having immature behavior on your show. If it behaves this kind of behavior on your show,
अच्छा बोलिए पूनावाला जी.
The sports budget of India has been cut by 231 crores. This is the encouragement you want to give sportsmen. Second thing Shehzad said, Major Dhyan Chand has been insulted. Major Dhyan Chand has the Lifetime Achievement Award on his name, instituted since 2004. I quote Times of India and I can read out all the winners of that. Each one getting not 5 lakh but 10 lakh rupees. Major Dhyan Chand got major awards including Padma Bhushan. He was a great friend of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and I can quote the stories of their friendship, but we don't have that much time because I'll be...
But he didn't deserve a Bharat Ratna?
Yes. Now for the Bharat Ratna, thank you for bringing it up. Thank you for bringing it up.
Bharat Ratna for Indira Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, not for Subhash Chandra Bose, Sardar Patel or Dhyan Chand. बहुत busy
Thank you for bringing that up. I want to bring that. Thank you for bringing that up. Unlike the BJP, which tweeted the wrong Khel, they didn't even tweet the picture of the Khel Ratna. They tweeted the picture of the Paramveer Chakra. Let me just tell you that Indira ji and Rajiv ji were martyrs for this country, and on your show, another lie was told. Pandit Nehru never gave himself the Bharat Ratna. It was given by Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who, and I quote from the Times of India, said that I have broken protocol and gone out of my way to give this son of India the highest award. While I have broken protocol, there is no better Ratna of Bharat than Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So please,
born in Uttar Pradesh, star of India. What is your hatred towards the common people who are born in Uttar Pradesh and have risen up to the rank to get laurels for India? आपकी क्या इतनी नफरत है मुझे
picture on a vaccine certificate? Why is our Prime Minister's pictures on the vaccine certificate? Is he a scientist? Did he develop the vaccine? He forgot to order vaccines. Put the scientists' pictures on the vaccine.
I go to a vaccination center. Did Indira Gandhi do anything with vaccines?
Pot calling the kettle black. Pot calling the kettle black here right away, Tehseen Poonawalla. I mean, for somebody who supports a family which has some 500 names, of various things. You are now questioning one stadium, one certificate. But let be that as it may, you have full right to say whatever you have to say, but let me get in Sabha Naqvi. Sabha Naqvi, there is this whole issue of, why Rajiv Gandhi's name has been removed and Dhyan Chand's name has been put next to the Khel Ratna. The Congress has called it petty politics. And of course, you've seen the corollary is being made about the stadium in Gujarat. The issue is of proportion, and the issue is also about the timing, Sabha Naqvi, because the country really has gone up, virtually with fireworks because our team has won a medal after 41 years in hockey, a sport that was born in this country, that was popularized on the international stage by Dhyan Chand, and they're ecstatic about the naming of the Khel Ratna. Is there any space for politics on this from either side?
So, Navika, I'll say one thing. I have no issue if you want to remove Rajiv Gandhi's name, and I'm very happy that Major Dhyan Chand's name is there. I have no issues with that. But do look at the way it's being done. And do look at the way my good friend Sambit, don't interrupt me, your own tweet says, thank you, Prime Minister Modi, and you have a picture of Prime Minister Modi. You could have put a picture of Dhyan Chand. Everything nowadays, you are running a campaign called Prime Minister Modi. I agree with you. The Gandhis named everything after themselves. So don't do that. Don't fall prey to that instinct. Because when a living leader puts his name, and it is, you can say it's the Cricket Association. Who runs the Gujarat Cricket Association? We're not fools here. I'm not a fool here. When it puts his name on a monument, it is noticed by the entire world. Do you think Mamta Banerjee, if she renovates a bit of Eden Gardens and they start calling it Mamta Banerjee Gardens, BJP will be very quiet about it? I'm just asking you that. Hypothetical question. As Kanikesh said, what if Naveen Patnaik starts naming stadiums after him? It's just bad taste. It's bad form. And currently, you have tweeted. I would have, you're a good friend of mine. If you had put out a picture of Dhyan Chand, instead you put out a picture of Prime Minister Modi. This follows an event where Himanta Biswa Sarma congratulated people from the Northeast and put his own picture there. And, without the pictures of the athletes who had won. He put himself over there. So don't make that mistake. Don't do what the Gandhis did. Be classy about it. Don't go down. And let's name everything. We need every shot in the arm for our sport. Let's name all the stadiums after sportsmen. Let's name cricket stadiums. Who knows? Hypothetically, you think it's fine, Eden Gardens renovation? We call it Mamta Banerjee Stadium.
Respond.
Do you think?
Respond, Dr. Patra. Respond, Dr. Patra. Very valid question raised by Sabanak.
See, Navika, I'll tell you one thing. Why most of the people are saying that we have no issues, because they have read the sentiment of the people. They know very well that they don't want to fall prey into a wrong narrative. They know that they would be hurting the sentiment of people if they oppose this people-friendly move by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. All that they are saying today, I'm astonished. Sabha, who is an ardent supporter of the Congress party, just supporter, I'm not saying she belongs to the Congress party, but she's saying and advising us that don't be like the Congress party. Don't be like the Congress party. Don't go down like the Congress party. Be something different from the Congress party. You are not a supporter, that may be a wrong word, but still you know the Congress party more than any one of us. So you advising us that don't in fact go down the same way as the Congress party means a lot to the people who in fact would be watching this show. Remember, 450 schemes, institutions, policies, etc. named after one family. Did we change them? Did we change them? We did not change any one of them. Did we change the stadium's name? No, we did not change stadium's
name. You're repeating
yourself. Did we change JNU's name? We did not change JNU's name. Remember?
You're copying them. You are copying
No, I'm not repeating myself. Sabha, you began by requesting that don't interrupt me. But okay. Sabha, you don't follow your own rules. You start interrupting when anyone else speaks, but you request everyone not to interrupt. So please hear me out, Sabha. Sabha, it does not matter anymore what a Sambit Patra or a Sabha Naqvi says. The country is aware today. The country realizes the fact that there is no place for entitlement. This country does not belong to one family. This country cannot be just sold to the to the fantasies of one family, And this is what is more important. This change is subtle, but this change is a defining movement for India. And it's good that you all are welcoming it, because there is no other way out. We all have to welcome the real India. Enough
Siva
of India belonging to a family.
Siva Keswan, you are the president of the Olympians Association, and I want to ask you, Siva Keswan. People here are now talking about the fact that one family has so many awards, institutions, schemes, etc., 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 named after them, and therefore it's poetic justice that a day after the Indian hockey team wins a medal, the Khel Ratna, the highest sporting awards, are named after Dhyan Chand. I want to ask you, is this something that is being done for symbolism, or is this really honoring somebody almost half a century too late?
Hi, good evening to you and to all the panelists who are here. I've been listening very intently to the debate, and I'm coming from a sports background, so I have a completely different approach to this. We're celebrating the biggest sports carnival in the world right now, the Olympic Games. First of all, I would like to use this opportunity to send all of our wishes to our teams who's over there. All these people, they have, toiled in and out for years without any attention leading up to this moment. Coming to a player like Major Dhyan Chand, who, he was the precursor of the golden era of hockey. I mean, that means that we won 6 Olympic gold medals back to back without losing a single game for 24 years. At that time, sports was not so important. There was no mass media. We didn't know the magnitude of it. Now the culture is changing. All right. So we need to, and as a representative of the Olympians community, I can tell you that the sentiments of the sports fraternity overwhelmingly is that we need to honor our sports persons. Even it's an encouragement for other athletes as well to perform better. Somebody as Major Dhyan Chand should be absolutely given the Bharat Ratna, and definitely awards such as these, naming them after such players, will bring attention to the players, and this is the change that sports is bringing in the country. So we should all
But
move with the times.
Do you think this was petty politics?
Well, from what I've heard so far, it's quite clear that, and all over the world, politicians will use sportspersons to get mileage. But that is fine. Do something good. Do something good. Take the mileage from it. No sportsperson is going to complain about that. So I think it's a great step, and I think this should continue. It should, in fact, open the door for a culture in which we are bringing more and more sportsmen in, and also then getting down to it, like beyond the apparent symbolism of all this, and start to bring more and more sports people to the fore, so that people can actually learn what this is about and how it's impacting.
You even have an objection to what Sivan says?
No, absolutely. I completely agree with him, and I hope that the 230 crores is restored. But I just want to tell your viewers one more thing. In 2012, the UPA gave Major Dhyan Chand the only award, which is the Gem of India Award, with his son Ashok Dhyan Chand at the CD Ford Stadium. Ma'am, you must have covered it, which was the only award given and the highest award given to a sportsman. What I'm just trying to say on your show is I'm very glad that this award has now been named after Major Dhyan Chand. And can we now move on and all stadiums have everybody's names out, have sportsmen's names on vaccines?
So then you will not object if the Indira Gandhi's indoor stadium or the Jawaharlal Nehru stadium's names are changed. You will not target the BJP.
Will Jay Shah go out of BCCI? I dare this. Will Jay Shah go out of BCCI? Jay Shah is on BCCI because he's Amit Shah's son. That is Parivarwad and not meritocracy.
But he's not the president. He's an administrator. He's the administrator. Where is the problem with that? Rahul Gandhi ji ka bataiye na. How many goals has Mr. Rahul Gandhi hit apart from the self goals of going and tweeting pictures and displaying the faces of victims' family?
Great question. Great question.
Let me come in. No, Navika, this can't be a monologue. This is not a Gandhi family show that we can keep going on. Navika, let me answer this.
In our country, who wanted to...
Navika, this is unfair.
Tehseen Poonawalla, if the Congress party had understood the mood of the people of this country, the mood of the people of this country is against entitlement. Entitlement that comes कि मैं फलाने का बेटा हूँ, इसीलिए मैं ही कांग्रेस का प्रेसिडेंट बनूंगा, मैं ही मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट बनूंगा. आज तक a replacement president cannot be found because Rahul Gandhi मानेंगे नहीं, मम्मी जाएंगी नहीं, कोई और आएगा नहीं. G23, G34, G22, Shehzad Poonawalla. That is the entitlement issue.
Navika, you have to review to fairness. It can't be that just one person gets to speak in the debate throughout the debate. Others should also get an opportunity. Navika, this man was speaking कि हमने ये कर दिया, हमने वो कर दिया. ये 2011 की Times of India report. Hockey players don't have proper shoes to wear. Says Indian team skipper. शर्म आती है मुझे इन लोगों के ऊपर. ये लोग केवल अपने परिवार के नाम को ऊंचा करने के लिए इतना जलते हैं कि आज एक सम्मानित हीरो को स्पेस मिली. आप मुझे एक बात बताइए नाविका जी कि अगर इनको इतनी चिंता होती तो इन्होंने अभी तक भारत रत्न तो किसी को दिया नहीं. स्पोर्टिंग ध्यानचंद जी को, और ध्यानचंद जी की बात करते रहते हैं. नाविका, द सिंपल क्वेश्चन दैट आई वांट टू आस्क,
4.5 घंटे में सचिन तेंदुलकर का इन्होंने भारत रत्न क्लियर किया हुआ है. It's an RTI response that was got some years ago. They can do it if they want to. They've honored Sachin Tendulkar. Cheers to them. Why not Dhyan Chand?
Why hasn't Modi done it for 7 years? It was amended in 2014. It was amended in 2014 to allow sportsmen to get Bharat Ratna. We lost power in
1 minute, Tehseen. 1 minute. Let me get in Krishna Punia. Krishna Punia जी, लोग आज सवाल ये ही पूछ रहे हैं कि सिर्फ हॉकी के नाम पर हॉकी के सुपरस्टार और स्पोर्ट्स के सुपरस्टार इस देश में जो थे, दादा ध्यानचंद जी जिन्हें कहा जाता है, अगर उनके नाम पर हाईएस्ट स्पोर्टिंग अवार्ड हो तो हंगामा है क्यों बरपा? कांग्रेस पार्टी ने क्यों है परेशान? सिर्फ दिया है उनको सम्मान।
नाविका जी, नहीं नाविका जी, मैं बताना चाहूंगी यहाँ पर मेजर ध्यानचंद जी के नाम से अवार्ड ऑलरेडी नेशनल अवार्ड दिया जा रहा है। मेजर ध्यानचंद जी के नाम से
तो आप समझती हैं और कोई अवार्ड देने की जरूरत नहीं है? और कोई अवार्ड उनके पीछे नाम?
नाविका जी, मैंने कंप्लीट नहीं किया। नाविका जी, आप मुझे कंप्लीट करने दीजिए, फिर मैं आपकी बात को आप कह सकती हैं।
नहीं, राजीव गांधी के नाम पे 15 चीजें हो सकती है, मेजर ध्यानचंद जी के नाम पे
नेशनल स्टेडियम है, लेकिन मैं ये कहना चाहती हूँ मेजर ध्यानचंद जी के नाम से आप अवार्ड दीजिए, हमें बिल्कुल ऐतराज नहीं है। जहाँ पर 7.5 लाख रुपए की प्राइज मनी है, आप 20 लाख कीजिए, हमें कोई ऐतराज नहीं है। हम रिगार्ड करते हैं उनके नाम से, और कोई बड़ी स्कीम लेकर आइए, हम स्वागत करते हैं। लेकिन मैं ये कहना चाहती हूँ, अगर आप इस तरीके से करना चाहते हैं तो आपके सवाल सभी चीजों के ऊपर क्लियर करना चाहिए कि आप हर एथलीट को आप उस तरीके से
सवाल सिर्फ एक है और मैं डॉक्टर संबित पात्रा से पूछना चाहती हूँ, सवाल सिर्फ एक है और डॉक्टर संबित पात्रा, आपने एक चीज कही थी जिसको मैं दोहराऊंगी और एंडोर्स करूंगी, वो है पब्लिक मूड। और पब्लिक मूड इस वक्त ये है कि हॉकी ने इस देश को बहुत मान सम्मान दिया है और वो मान सम्मान मेजर ध्यानचंद जी की वजह से आया है, जिसकी वजह से आज अगर ये स्पोर्टिंग अवार्ड को ध्यानचंद जी के नाम पर नवाजा जाए तो आई थिंक द कंट्री सपोर्ट्स यू।
नहीं नाविका जी, मैं मेरी बात कंप्लीट करना चाहूंगी। नाविका जी, मैं मेरी बात कंप्लीट करना चाहूंगी।
अच्छा, 30 सेकेंड्स पूनिया जी, 30 सेकेंड्स में अपनी बात कंप्लीट करिए।
लेट मी कंप्लीट। पुनिया जी, मैं बोल लूं 30 सेकंड, फिर आप बोल लीजिए।
मैं कहना चाहती हूँ आज जो समय था, आज हमारे खिलाड़ियों की इतनी अच्छी बातें निकली थी कि कैसे संघर्ष में उन्होंने मेडल जीता है। तो आज हमारे देश में ये डिबेट होने चाहिए थी कि जो समस्याएं हमारे खिलाड़ियों के बीच में नहीं आई तो कैसी स्कीम हमें तैयार करनी चाहिए। ऐसी कोई स्कीम तैयार करते सम्मानीय ध्यानचंद
पुनिया जी, आपने शायद पढ़ा नहीं। जानू जब बीमार थी तो प्रधानमंत्री जी ने उनकी मदद की थी और टीम में ओलंपिक मेडल्स की टीम्स में जाने वाले लोगों को सरकार से पूरी मदद मिली है। पूनिया जी, थोड़ा आप भी अध्ययन कर लें। लेकिन डॉक्टर संबित पात्रा, 30 सेकेंड्स टू यू, रिस्पॉन्ड टू कृष्णा पुनिया।
देखिए नाविका जी, अभी तो हम सरकार में हैं, 3 साल तो इसी टर्म का बाकी है, उसके बाद फिर हम 5 साल के लिए आएंगे, उसके बाद भी हम 5 साल के लिए आने वाले हैं, उसके बाद कई बार 5-5 साल के लिए आएंगे। तो बिल्कुल पूनिया जी या सबा नकवी परेशान ना हो, जो जो उनकी इच्छाएं हैं नरेंद्र मोदी जी पूरा करेंगे। और एक राज की बात में जाते जाते बता दूं, ये तो शुक्र है 2014 में हम सरकार में आ गए। उस समय व्हाट्सएप नया आया था, इन्होंने पूरा प्लान बनाया था कांग्रेसियों ने कि व्हाट्सएप का नाम वो राजीव गांधी मुफ्त गपशप योजना रखने वाले थे। ये बात बिल्कुल आप पता लगाइए आरटीआई डाल के, ये कांग्रेसियों ने सरकार में बनाया था राजीव गांधी मुफ्त गपशप योजना, व्हाट्सएप का नाम रखने वाले थे। ये शुक्र है हम आ गए।
चैनल के ऊपर आप क्या दर्शाना चाहते हैं?
सच बता रहा हूँ दीदी, ये आप पता लगाओ, ये आप लोगों का बस चलता तो सबको राजीव गांधी मुफ्त गपशप योजना होता,
ये समझने की जरूरत है।
Well, ladies and gentlemen, at a time when 135 crore Indians are celebrating the moment of recognition, the moment of great celebration of a bronze medal coming with the men's hockey team back into India after a gap of 41 years, and to commemorate this event, the renaming of the Khel Ratna Awards as Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna Awards. Clearly, the Congress seems to be out of sync. They can only pay attention to the politics behind this, about the removal of the name of former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, but they're missing the bigger point, which is the national sentiment. And the national sentiment salutes Major Dhyan Chand. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on debate number 1. Taking a short break, and the Indian women's hockey team also does us proud. That story after the break.